it looks like, to the referee's eyes, it slowed him down.
That's interesting.
It's almost like a Shaq thing in basketball, LeBron thing in basketball. He's fouled, but it doesn't affect his ability, so they don't call it. In this situation, because of JuJu's style,
that's interesting.
They look at it and they go, well, no, that didn't really. If that would have happened, JuJu wouldn't have came out of it and caught up to that pass anyway, even if he didn't touch him.
That's what I was going to ask you on the back end. Wasn't that an uncatchable ball?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
Does the ball have to be uncatchable?
JuJu wouldn't have caught up to that.
It pays to be sorry sometimes, is what he is saying.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying his style is not in and out of the break with sudden quickness.
Like Tyreek Hill would be different.
Tyreek Hill would have came out of that and caught up to that pass. JuJu, regardless, if they would have let him just run down the field by himself without even touching him, he probably wouldn't have caught up to the pass. The refs aren't looking at it being uncatchable. Because the flag happened early at the point of attack right there. Right, listen, it didn't happen down the field.
People want to weigh in on this. I mean, it was the right call technically, but ticky-tack.
Can I just defend the refs for a second? I mean, I wish that fans would actually try to take a class and make these in-game decisions on the fly. Like, I know that we have 9,000 cameras and that we'll come back and we'll review every single call, and then we want to always talk about the one call that refs didn't get right. Nobody wants to praise the refs for all the calls they got right. You just kill them for the one they got wrong. And now all of a sudden we have a ref problem. Like, I see it in the NBA and in the NFL. Like, it's just, come on, man.
Key,
come on.
There was, now I'm going to bring up something I know Key
It's always some kind of excuse.
An evolutionary biologist, because I know, Key, this is just for you. So there's a guy named Stephen J. Gould who passed away maybe 20 years ago.
Yeah, Jay, I know him.
And what do I relate everything to? The New York Yankees, of course. Don Larson had pitched a perfect game in the World Series, but the last pitch of the game was a called strike 3. And it was clearly, I believe, low and away, but it was clearly not a strike. But close enough to the strike zone that the hitter should have swung, right? Too close a pitch to take if you're the hitter under those circumstances. And Stephen J. Gould wrote a whole article about how is truth spot or circumstance? And this is a controversial subject. Some people will tell you, man, it doesn't matter what the circumstance is, call it straight up and down. And other people will tell you, have a sense of the circumstance, right? That was one of those calls. Technically, it was PI, but do you call it in that circumstance, right?
No, it was holding, not PI. And you don't call it in that
holding.
circumstance.
Sorry, holding.
You got to also,
pardon me.
You also got to understand the player on the offensive side of the ball that it was called for. Mm-hmm. I don't believe that Bradberry's grab and tug impeded JuJu from going and getting the football. That's just me.
Didn't affect the play.
I don't think it affected it at all, to be honest with you.
I agree.
I just don't. And having played that position, I just don't. I mean, I really don't. But referees see something different. And they don't really, the referee doesn't understand that JuJu's sudden quickness in and out of the break is going to be what it's going to be regardless. Now, if that was Tyreek Hill, it would have probably slowed Tyreek Hill down, because he's a stop-and-start guy. JuJu's not a stop-and-start guy. He can't start his motor right back up like that, where Tyreek Hill can, or MVS can, or Mecole Hardman can. If it was one of those guys, then I would be like, yeah, it stopped him from getting to that ball.
Keyshawn, JWill and Max. So was it a bad call? I don't know that it decided. Well, put it this way. It ended the game effectively, but the Chiefs still might have won that game. In fact, I'd have put them at better than 50-50 to win, even if that call doesn't go for them and against the Eagles. They probably win, but not the game wasn't over, certainly. John Parry, ESPN Monday Night Football rules analyst and former NFL official, including two-time Super Bowl referee. John, good morning. Technically,
good morning.
There are two questions here. Technically, was it the right call? That's the first question. Secondly, do you make that call that didn't seem to affect the play in that moment? Those are the two questions.
Well, I'll start with the word that you use, which is interesting. Technically. Technically, yes. Technically, there is a shirt grab. The angle is perfect for that deep wing official to see the shirt grab. But does it impact the play? Does it affect the route? Does it take a step away? Does it pull a shoulder back? I would say no. And we allow so much activity within that first yard, both offensive and defensively. I didn't like the call. I see why it was made, but I personally, at that moment, no, I did not like the call.
You know, John, and that's what I was telling the guys earlier, having played the position and been grabbed many times and also have pushed off, and you turned your head the other way a couple times when I've done that, but that's another story, right? That it didn't impede him from going to get the football, because it's not like it's Tyreek Hill or one of these speed demons. He wasn't going to get an overthrown ball anyway, so it's like, why would that referee at that point in time decide that this was the moment to drop that flag? And so maybe I thought maybe he just didn't see it as clean as we may have saw it on television in real time.
No, I think he does. I think from his angle, because I went back and replayed it a couple times just using the equipment, and the angle is perfect for him as the receiver goes inside and then he tries to break outside and the defender gets that shirt in the fist. It lines up perfectly for him. And I think that is exactly why he threw. He sees a shirt grab, which by rule and currently is a foul. That's why he throws. One of the questions that I guess I would ask the league, hey, we go week after week after week, and I would imagine if we saw that 50 times, most people would say, you know what, it was a good pass that they didn't throw because there's really no impact at that moment. And now on this one play, everybody certainly is struggling with the football eye test that is a foul.
John, I want to go back to the first half for a second. The pass right before the half ended to Devontae Smith that was deemed not a catch. How did you see it? Because it leads to a lot of speculation around what is deemed to be a catch these days.
So you got to have three ingredients. Control, he did. 2 steps, he did. And then this part C, this third ingredient, which is a football act, beginning to run, taking a third step, extending the ball over the goal line, extending the ball forward for a first down, anything like that. If you don't commit that act, you at least have to have the time to do so. And that was the issue with that catch. Didn't have the third ingredient.
Okay. All right.
John, let me ask you this question, because I'm curious to get your answer, because I know it's been something that's been talked about. It feels like every offseason, the referees just basically becoming full-time. This is the only thing to do. We're going to go into training camps for extended period of time. How come that hasn't just come to the surface?
Well, I hope it never comes to the surface. My answer probably going to be a little bit different than what you might anticipate. Look, to get better at this craft, this profession of officiating, the only way to get better is to get reps at true speed, true game speed. You and I both know, because we did it. We did camps together when you were playing.
Yes.
Officials would come in for 2, 3, 4 days. Maybe there's 30 minutes of full speed hitting at that point. Now it's shorts and shirts and just helmets only. There's really no opportunity with the action that takes place in a training camp environment for an official to get better. They get one opportunity, 1 game a week, 3 hours per week to get better. Now, maybe there's room to expand and say, listen, we want officials at our levels, the professional levels, XFL, USFL, NFL. Let the guy work 35, 40, 45 games per year. And I think because of those additional reps, they would get better.
Mm-hmm. John Parry, ESPN, Monday Night Football rules analyst and former NFL official, which includes officiating 2 Super Bowls.
And he let me get a lot. He let me get away with a lot.
Get away with murder.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, John. We appreciate it. We appreciate your time very much this morning.
Have a good one.
Thanks.
Hey, the guy's holding me, John. Did you see it? Don't worry, Key. I got it next time.
I mean, what a great point by John, though. Like, the more reps you get, the better off at something you become. So if you're getting limited reps, how are you expected to be on top of your game in those critical moments.
Well, like you said, they should have this off-season crossover with these other leagues and allow them to do that too. That would be good.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.